What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Toymakr3D 3D printed Skyfire, printed for me by Artic Painthing Studios. So, just to jog your memory, I have taken a look at a few things from this company. We looked at the Titan-sized broadside, and I love that thing. It's really beautifully done. He has a very good printer, or at least maybe just does a really good job on the finishing. So it's very smooth and it looks really good. So if you're interested, I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one. But also looked at the Blue Guardian, a Titan-sized Blue Guardian. And I will put a link to his eBay store. So if you're interested in purchasing this or any of those other items I mentioned, you can get to it. But basically it's a print service. He offers printing these items at a high quality print, so you can get them in case you don't have a 3D printer like me. So let's take a look. Now, he did modify this design. This is originally the Toymakr3D head on this particular design. Wasn't very good looking. It kind of was a weird looking head. So he did modify and update it just for me, so I could have a better looking Jetfire. And as you know, Skyfire is my favorite character from Transformers. It does come like individually wrapped, so each part is wrapped the way he does it in bubble wrap. And we got a leg here. So it does have three different colors. You got the red, you got the white, and I did change my background, but I think maybe the light is too bright. So let's turn it down just a little bit. That looks pretty good. And we got another one of those. I'll just set that aside for now. And what is this? This looks like a tightening tool. So I wonder... Yeah, this is a tool. So it's got magnetic bits that I guess you put in here and then use this to tighten the screws, which they've designed for all these figures. That's interesting. So it's like a whole bit set here. That's pretty neat. And that helps to tighten up the joints after you put it together. And here's the instructions. It was at the bottom. So this just shows you how to assemble. Again, this is done by Toymakr3D, not by Artic Painthing Studios, but it tells you how to put it together. It's partially assembled. You can see, for example, the leg is already partially assembled. I just got to do the rest. All right, and actually before I put this together, I did find this in the box. That's the little black envelope. I have no idea what it is. Oh, look at that. Okay, we got some stickers. Each 3D model is printed with precision, care, and attention to detail, ensuring exceptional quality and finish. Your support helps us continue printing unique pieces for collectors and enthusiasts around the world. I guess you can scan this QR code and leave a review. So it looks like he's on Instagram, on the web, and you can contact by email. And a little bit about handling and cleaning. Here's his card. He's on Instagram, his email, Etsy. Although, I don't know if he's still on Etsy. Last time I looked, his account was not there anymore. He's got a website, articpainthingstudios.com, and a number. There we go. Looks like I got a voucher for 15% off, so that's nice. All right. Well, thank you for that. Let's get this thing put together. I will have to get some glue. And on the prior models, I also glued a couple things just so they weren't loose. This one's like exceptionally loose, but I'm never going to take that off, so there's no reason to not glue it, so I'll glue it on. But let's put it together. So we'll have, we're going to back out this screw, and then we'll pop the leg in there. Here we go. And then we can tighten up that screw. And that's another reason why you get this little tool kit. So you don't have to do it by hand. If you want, you can use the tool. Let's do that. Let's use the tool. There we go. It's actually much easier to get it tight using that. All right, let's do the other one. Same thing. And don't over tighten these. I would recommend you just tighten it hand tight. Don't really crank on them. It's plastic after all, so you're not trying to overdo it. All right, let's take care of the arms next. You have the screw right here on the back, so just undo that a little bit, and we'll get it on the ball joint. And then we'll tighten this using the tool. There we go. And I'll do the other arm as well. And finally we got the head. And I've noticed the face is a little bit on the loose side, so I'm going to glue that in. Or probably maybe I'll use some sticky tack. That way I can take it off and swap it if I want to. That just goes right on the ball joint. You don't need to have a screw. All right, there is the Toymakr3D Jetfire fully assembled. And it does look pretty good. I did have to turn my lighting down. It's a very bright white plastic. So, it's got some definition and some details. Hard to see. Maybe I'll turn a little bit of lighting off, but it definitely has a little bit of definition. But you can see how smooth and good looking this print is. I mean, it's very, very smooth. I'm not sure what kind of print he has, but it's really well done. I did have to make an adjustment to the arm just because it was assembled not quite right, but it does look really good. You got all plastic, but darker blue, royal blue up here, kind of a gray for the face, light blue, sky blue for the eyes and the cockpit, gray here for the intakes and the feet, and then red inserts on the hips, chest, knees, and legs. Backpack does look good. Nice red inserts here on the wings, and then red and white. It's pretty amazing that there's no paint on it, even though it's got that color breakup. All in all, it looks really nice. Let's go over the articulation. Head's on a ball joint and gets up to there, down to there, side to side, and rotates around. Shoulders on a ball joint, they lift up to there, rotates around. Depending on how tight you tighten this, it will move easier. I have it pretty tight. Elbows will bend just up to 90. This is one part I need to glue. I'll just show you. I did swap this with the other side, but this is a part where you can glue it in because what's rotating is this piece that it's attached to. So you don't need to, this never needs to come out. So I am going to glue it in there once I'm done. I just put some sticky tack to hold it, but you get 90 degrees out of that. Rotation at the wrist. The hands are different on both sides. So this one has a slot, whereas this one doesn't. And in a minute, when I get the accessories, I'll show you. You can put the gun in this slotted hand. It would have made sense to put a hole in both. I'm not sure why they didn't. But coming to the waist, there is no rotation or crunch at the waist. The way it's designed, it's a solid piece here, so you don't get anything there. Coming down to the legs, you have hip skirts. Get it up to there. Back to there. You can do it by the backpack. Out to the side. Again, all on friction, depending on how tight you tighten that the ball. Put these back down. We have a little past 90 on the knee. ankle tilts side to side, as well as forward and backward. And then there's a toe tilt for kind of a walking pose if you want. For the accessories, we get some alternate hands, just open, expressive hands here. And to swap those out, you can just slide the hand outward like this on a mushroom peg and then slide the new one on. Like I mentioned, I am going to glue these in. For now, I just have some sticky tack in there holding it. There you go with the open expressive hand. And on this side, we can use that slot to hold the gun. So just done in gray plastic. That'll fit into the hand. Nice and secure. I think you can get him to hold the gun. Let's see, yeah. So he's kind of holding like the end. So that works pretty well. And he said he is going to include these alternate colored faces. So if you prefer a lighter face color, you can have this. Now, I use sticky tack for this. I probably won't glue it, just so I have the option of changing it out if I want the different color. But you just pull forward on the face. Because I put the sticky tack a little bit, mine's a little bit tighter, but you can see I have the sticky tack right there. And then we'll swap it out with this one. So you get that lighter color. I think the gray looks better. It just breaks up the figure a little bit more, but you will have the option if you buy it from him to have both colors. And just to give you a sense of the size, there it is next to a couple other modern Jetfires. There we have the Hasbro STCC exclusive Void Rivals Jetfire, which is the same as the Siege Jetfire in terms of size. And then we've got the Fans Toys Phoenix X version. So you can see he's right in between, a little bit taller than the Siege or STCC version, and then shorter than the Fans Toys. And then here is a Masterpiece Optimus Prime. This is the Magic Square version. Here is the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. So you could use it probably in a retail scale would work best, but maybe passable in a Masterpiece scale also. All right, and here's another comparison for you. There it is with the Takara MP version. And this is my Lek Custom, so it's cell shaded, but you can see the sculpt. And it's interesting, you know, it's still very G1-y, but it doesn't have the, you know, kind of lanky, goofy proportions that this one has. So it tends to look still, you know, a little bit more athletic. You know, it doesn't look as wonky. I like the way they did the shoulders too. So, you know, if you're looking for a G1 aesthetic without the goofy look that this guy has, although I love this, but then I think this might be, you know, a nice stand-in in your MP collection. So final recommendations on the Toymakr3D Jetfire printed by Artic Painthing. I think this is pretty cool. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I'll recommend it. Overall, I think it has a great looking aesthetic. You get that G1 cartoon look. Also, it's got some pretty good articulation. Accessories are okay. It's got the gun. I do wish the hands were articulated. Having these, you know, fixed hands gets you a little bit less posing options. But I understand it. It's a smaller scale compared to the Broadside and the Blue Guardian that we looked at. Now, those two figures, I understand why those might be more desirable, just because we don't have a lot of choices when it comes to Broadside or even the Blue Guardian. We only have one at the MP scale, and that's the Fans Toys G, which is very limited, very hard to get. So those two I can understand having a 3D printed stand-in. But this guy, we do have some both MP and chug scale options available. But if you like the aesthetic of this, like me, or you're a Jetfire collector like I am, it's a great addition to the collection. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. You can pick this up from Artic Painthing on their eBay store. I'll put the link in the description if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.